I am now live. Love it when you see that live button go live because it means you're actually live. Well, thank you. Today I'm going to be talking to a really good friend of mine, Parjje Oscar. He is now on a Project Runway and he is killing the game. Honestly, I scream every time I see him on the screen. We must have met, I don't know, he might have to correct you on this, but it's got to be 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. We met when I was hosting a fashion show in the Caribbean. Where were we? I'll get him to elaborate on the story. And he was a designer that was showcasing at this fashion show. St. Martin, that's where we were. And basically since then, you know when you just see somebody from a distance and you're like, oh, we should be friends. He was giving it bouge. He was giving it fashion. He was giving it energy. And I'm like, yeah, me and you, this is it. I used to go and see him a lot in New York when he lived there. He now lives in Philadelphia. And as I said, is killing it on Project Runway. Like, I actually think that this is his big break. He hasn't spoiled it for me. He hasn't told me how far he gets. But I want to say we're like past halfway. How far into this are we? We're on episode 7 and my man is still winning. He's still winning. So I have got high hopes for the fact that we're going to see him in the finale. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Hey. I believe that Parjje should be here in a bit. He messaged me and was like, it's time. I was like, I know I'm late, so let me get in here. So I don't think he sent me a request yet, or am I missing that? No, he hasn't started yet, but I'm just gonna stay here, keep talking to you about how fabulous this designer is. Oh, look, he's just sent me the request. All right, let's get him in. Go live, Oscar. And I'm getting messages as well. There we go. Are you in here? I said yes. Is it working?
Yay!
Yay!
Oh my God. How are you?
I'm really good, boo. How are you?
Gorgeous as always.
Oh, I thank you. You know, I had to just, put it together for you, make sure it was looking correct.
Honey, you're always looking correct. Oh my God.
Oh, I love that. Now, can I just clarify? It was in St. Martin that we met each other, right?
Yes, it was St. Martin. It was about 10 years ago. And I remember I was sitting at the bar. I was pissed off.
Yep.
And then you walked in, and I was like, oh, who's that girl? And he's like, who are you? And I was holding 2 drinks, and I kid you not, you were like, so I assume this one's for me. And you grabbed that drink, and it was since then.
A match made in
It
heaven.
was
Like, I
literally like,
knew.
there was no more talking that needed to be done after that moment. It was legendary.
It was just full-blown kiki. Now, I know
Yeah.
you are super busy. I ain't gonna
Yes.
spoil it, but I got a feeling you're going kind of far in this Project Runway situation.
Well, we just have to see. We just, I think, passed the halfway mark.
Yeah, how many
Um,
episodes are there?
God, I don't even know. I think it's like 14 or
Yeah,
something.
because we've just hit 7 here in the
Yeah,
UK.
yeah. So
But it's
we
such a
just have
great
to
point to
see.
be at because obviously to get on Project Runway in the first place, everybody's got to be talented. So it's not like I'm
Yeah,
trying to take anything away from anybody because to make it there, you've got to be at the top of your game
and
anyways. But
and
then
this
yeah.
in this group, I have to say, and I think they said it on TV, and some people reacted strangely to it, but they're right. This group of designers were some of the most talented designers I've seen. It wasn't just about making clothes just to show off. It was more, I need to sell this. How much time do I have? How am I gonna get this vision out the right way? They really spend time, even though we don't have that much time, but the little bit of time we have, you do spend a bit of it processing how to make this vision down the runway the right way to impress
Yeah, it
the
felt like people were
makers. Yeah,
creating art that came from a place of talking about their background,
yeah.
heritage, etc. There was a story with absolutely everything, which I
Hmm.
appreciate as a viewer, definitely.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like again, I was saying that all of you are really talented at this point, but it's now halfway through and we've really weeded out the weak because now the judges can't even make their decisions. They are like battling with each other when it comes to who's actually going to get eliminated on these later episodes.
And it gets tougher. It's getting to that point. It definitely it was a great experience. It was a tough experience. Really, really tough.
Mm,
And I know you can relate because you went through one of those same situations. But in terms of like the fashion, it really is that tough. You're really in a pressure cooker. These guys are really, they're really something. We're all still friends. Every single,
yeah.
well, maybe for a few, but we are the huge majority. I would say 97% of us are literally
Still
texting each
friends.
other almost every day.
I love that. Can we go
Yeah.
back to the beginning?
Yeah.
Can I find out how you got on the show? Was it just a case of applying? Were there audition rounds?
Um,
How did that work?
well, for many years we talk about Project Runway, and I've always said I'm not going to Project Runway. I was like, I'm not Project Runway guy. I'm not going to Project Runway.
I nearly
So,
passed out, babe, when you told me.
and I kind of always received some emails sometimes when they're casting over the past few years. Um, but I've always been so scared of going because of that show I did before. And then right before pandemic, this time was a little different. There was a little bit more interest on fighting Parjje. And literally my team literally pull out the paper and then they like, you're going. Because
Yeah.
at this point, what are you waiting for? Like,
Exactly.
like,
This is your break, babe. Like
so
you've been
yeah.
so talented killing it with your shows, etc. But we know what it comes down to sometimes. It's about the exposure. So you
Hmm.
agreed to do the show. Did you have to submit anything to get
Yeah.
approved? How did it
Oh
work?
yeah. The process is intense. It's a lot of paperwork. You have to submit your portfolio, whatever way they found you. You even have to send samples of your work.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. I mean, those things are not secrets. They're right there on the website, in terms of what you need to submit, videos of yourself, of course, all that set. And then because of the pandemic, the process kind of got extended to a whole other year, where not only I had to hold on to this whole I applied, and then this is where I am, and this is what's happening, and then also I had to like hold up because I'm like I don't know if I'm gonna make it in, so that whole
Yeah.
thing took a whole year. Um,
So can
and
I
then
ask, when was this filmed? When was this season filmed? Like over what period?
earlier this year,
Yeah.
right before summer,
Okay. No,
in the
I'm so
summer,
excited. I'm literally on the edge of my seat. All right. So you
yeah.
find out that you're actually going to do the show. You've been approved. It's happening. It was all shot in New York, so you're basically had to move into the apartment. What was that like?
It was nuts. Okay. Um, there was literally 2 weeks. There was like 2 weeks. I had to get all my business in order, so I had to shut down my shop because my assistant was not trained to kind of carry on like setting stuff and dealing with clients while I was gone, but keep a certain part open, still dealing with like pullings and stuff. Um, excuse me, my sister had to like be like my mini me to feed my daughter because I do have a kid that I have to
I
feed
know.
in
I love
Haiti.
her. She's so cute.
So my sister had to take care of that, and she had to take care of paying my assistant, like making sure that things were running, and literally pack up my whole life, and I went.
Yeah, it's taken me back because it's the exact same thing. You've basically
Yeah,
you've got to like drop off the face of the earth,
yeah,
drop and roll, and nobody's supposed to know where you're at.
no one, and it was like that. Like we were there, it was crazy. Um, we got there, and we didn't see outside people
Yeah.
until we actually went. We were done.
What were your thoughts when you met all the other designers?
Immediately I knew it was a great group. Because you can kind of see everybody's characters when that part where we shot Lincoln Center. That was actually the first time when we actually saw each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you can kind of already pick people like uh Octavio with a pink mustache. I'm like, this man has a red mustache. Like, come on. Bones was wearing those waist beads. Katie was as colorful as we get to know her. So you get to know each other in a glimpse right there and right on. So you can kind of see that people were cool. It was a group of cool kids. Like,
Yeah.
um, but the one thing we were split into the two. So even the people that you were vibing with right at that moment didn't end up in the same group as you. So that kind of like create that split. I do think that split kind of made people stronger in a way.
Yeah.
At least for my group, it did get us to be stronger. By the time we meet the other group, and when we got met the other group, and then somehow we both merge, and from there, yeah, everybody have strong characters. I'll tell you
They
that.
really do. Do you, I mean, I don't know if you could say this because I always, it's a question that I was asked when I was on Top Model and it's always quite awkward to answer it. But like, do you have maybe like a top three who you're like the closest to or that you admire the most in terms of
Well,
their design aesthetic?
design aesthetic, I've always said is Chantal. I've gravitated towards Chantal more because I see how she works, um, the things that are important to her and what she makes, and they're the same thing that's important for me too. A clean finished garment, nice tailoring, and I saw that in terms of that aesthetic wise, but in terms of like everything else, creativity. Aaron, I was closest to Aaron in the show. I guess it's because he's from way down south, and me being Haitian, there is a similarity in
Mm-hmm.
certain things. So we spent a lot of time together. And as you can see in episode 2, Kenneth was my roommate, so I spent
Oh,
a lot of time
yes.
with Kenneth.
He was
Um,
adorable, Kenneth.
yeah, he was. I've learned from Bones. Believe it or not, even though our first episode sounded like we were screaming at each other, but it was like everybody has strong personalities. And that very first few days, that very first week, we all got to know each other, whatever
Yeah.
way was
I thought that
possible.
you and Bones were going to butt heads throughout the whole thing, to be fair.
To be fair, I thought the same thing at the very beginning, but once we kind of like
Got
we
over the hump.
Yeah, when we realized the whole thing in the first episode, and then what he did after too, I think that kind of reminds you that people are humans. They're gonna act certain ways. You just got to talk, and then we spoke, and then ever since that was it.
Yeah.
That was that. And then the Megan thing that happened,
I
it
was
was
gonna, this is where
weird.
we're going now. Megan. Because I forgot her name for a second there. But the Megan thing, can you break it down for me? Because the way it
Well,
was like, oh, she left.
the Megan thing happened. It was weird because I mean, again, it was unexpected because Megan was part of the group. She was making jokes. I was learning a few jokes from her. Even there was even a point in challenge one when we actually did end up sharing the room together. The machine was breaking on me. Megan showed me how to teach them it's how to fix the machine because there's a tension, something about the tension. I was like, oh my God, I never knew that. So there was that part there, but there was also the part that, we're on TV. I just got a bad critique and I need this camera to stay on me, so I'm gonna flip. And that's what I'm gonna say on that.
Yeah. It shocked me that she left though. It looks like
I
they were
mean,
building up to something and then it was like, oh, she's gone. Did you feel bad for her at all?
that she
With the
was gone?
not
No.
the oh rah.
No. The only thing I did feel, they said that she left. I would take it. Um, since she left, I felt it was a very coward move to make because if you needed to leave, you should have left the same way every designer would be leaving this competition on the
Yeah.
runway. And I
Oh,
think you should have come in, finish your work, and put it on the runway and let the judges decide who goes home. That's kind of how I feel. But quitting a competition like that
yeah.
because Project Runway is so important, somebody else could have had that spot, you know?
Yeah. But I'll say, as somebody as a viewer watching it, it was quite clear early on that I thought mentally she couldn't actually handle the process. And don't get me wrong, because it's not for everyone. The isolation, being
Uh,
kept away from your family, the constant task. It's like every time you get over and you win something, it's like another task is presented to you.
well,
She
think
looked like
about
she was
it.
struggling.
Think about it. That theory would only work if there were other people breaking apart doing the same thing. There were 16 people in that house, and you tell me one of you can't keep your mind together. I'm sorry. What happened there? She was fine. Um, I didn't see any sign of somebody that was struggling with a competition that was so tough because we were all having fun. It was all
Yeah.
laughter. That's the honest truth. But I did see when the cameras turned on, the dramatic got to 100. And that
She's
was
one of
her way,
those.
that was her way of keeping the cameras on her. And
Fair enough.
she needed that camera on her, and she will do it by any means. That's what I experienced myself. And I'm only saying that because at this point all gloves are off, because she's still lying about the whole situation, and that pissed me off that she's
Yeah.
doing that. um but that's what I saw. I mean, I'm not saying there wasn't some mental health there. We all went with mental health, honey. That's what I'm
I
trying
was
to
gonna
say.
ask, did you
All of
guys
us.
do did you
Yes,
do
of course.
psychological tests before you
Of
went
course
in?
you do. Nobody's gonna put anyone on national TV without to go to some standard test to figure out if you're okay to go on there. No one that's stupid. I mean,
You say
ah,
that, but there was a whole bunch of drama about the psychological tests for the top model, and the results were ignored in some cases. I don't know. I don't really want to get into it. All I know is
no.
that I passed mine.
I tell you that. I don't think there's no results. Ignore that Project Runway, honey. Okay, you are not going to the next step. You did not pass that
Totally.
test.
Well,
Okay.
I've said it already. We're at episode 7. So far, what has been your favourite task? May I add as well, do you not have the most wins?
Um,
I think you're up there.
up, yeah, up there. I think Chastity had
Oh, that's
the
another
two
point. You see the last
immunity.
episode with the fur?
Uh-huh.
I love Chastity, I do, but I think it should have been your win because I felt it was your points. You correct me if I'm wrong, but like the main structure of that dress to me was you.
Well, that was shown on TV, and somehow that was neglected. I love Chastity, and then I said this then, and I'll continue saying it. Um, Avant-garde is a world that I live in, and for someone who knows me long enough, you know that's my world. Was I disappointed that I couldn't do it alone? Yeah, a little bit, because I wanted to do it alone. However, working with Chastity was great because we had a story there that was relatable to the both of us, and we actually went in and we created something that was very beautiful. She
Very
came in
beautiful.
she came in with the design, and instantly when she came to the design, I saw how we can make our dress not just beautiful but unique from what I knew the room was going to do. It's a fur challenge. The entire room's gonna end up in fucking fur. Okay? So the idea to come up with a fur dress we painted included on it, I think that was our ticket to winning that challenge. Was it would be unique, it would be different. And I saw a lot of comments about people, some that the silhouette had been done by someone before. No, it have not. Look at my structures and look at the drapes that have been done, because that is a structure that was sewn, built, and bones and all that stuff
Yeah.
and sewn
I'm
by
not trying to
hand.
take anything away from Chastity. I'm not, because you two worked so well together. It
Yeah,
really
no,
was like a marriage made in heaven.
I've been hearing that, and then I've been hearing that it kind of, it's one of those questions that, I'm gonna have to hear or answer if not, but I do want to make it known that it doesn't matter what happened with that dress. I was in love with the fact that we made it's hard not to make things somewhat politics when
Mm-hmm.
it's people like us in a show like that. I've always heard, and Chastity confirmed it as well, and that's kind of where we kind of merge, that black people can't make clothes that's not stretchy fabric. And I've heard that before. I I will be honest, I've never saw myself in that category because I actually cut and sew very technical fabrics and tailoring and stuff like that. But I've heard it before, and it is a little annoying. And I will say to this too, you do see a lot of black designers whenever they come out with their collection, it's a whole line of stretchy fabric. You do see that as well. I'm not, I'm never lying, honey, and today won't be that day. So for us to actually create avant-garde haute couture, where not only we use a very weird material which I hate, which was fur, but we entered a beautiful painting into it, structure, a story. We did it both on the machine and by hand. It was really a labor of
And
love and trust, and then we built this. So it was, to me, that moment, what right there was more important to celebrate with her
yeah.
there
I
versus
feel like
anything
the
else.
icing on the cake, though, Billy Porter saw it
Yo,
and
when I
wanted it.
tell you, when he challenged that show, baby, I was like, oh no, sir. she can walk.
I loved it. I loved it. And what was your
I was
model
like,
called again?
Mimi.
And Mimi got off the stage and strut her stuff down. It was
And
like,
Mimi, let
oh.
me tell you, she is down for it. Mimi was like, oh, yes, I can walk the runway slippery. I was like, honey, you better tell them. She was like, can you come down? I'm like, yep, let's go.
Honestly, magical. Babe, I don't think you understand. Every time I'm watching this show, I'm screaming, I am clapping. The fiance is confused, babe. Bare noises because it literally feels like it's me in the competition. I'm like, yes, win it, slay it. Like, there was the street challenge one that you won.
Mm-hmm.
It worked so well. Again, it's about the heritage, you being from
Mm-hmm.
Haiti, like you could see it all the way through and how much it meant to you. It looks so great. I'm trying to think of the other ones as well.
Um,
Streetwear.
what was the first challenge?
Oh, the
Streetwear,
gloves.
the gloves, there was floral.
The
Oh
gloves.
my God, the gloves.
Absolutely dying over your
Oh,
look with the gloves.
probably one of my most beautiful thing I've ever created in my life. Those gloves, they brought so much like emotion in that workroom when those gloves came back. I
And the
walked through
head
that room.
wrap, it was so perfection.
And for everyone, we all be making all of my favorite pieces from that show.
Please do. I don't know if you
Yeah,
need to team up again with the designer so that I can get these gloves because.
well, the designer and I, we already teaming up for that. I actually want to get a sample made that I'm taking to Paris with me in March to do a campaign. Honey, those girls gotta be
Wait, wait, you're going
freaking.
to Paris in
Yes,
March?
I need to call you about that because I want to get in the train. That's another conversation. Yes, girl. I forgot that I'm going with my mom, but I want to take those
I'm
gloves and
gonna
I want to
start
take those.
sweating, don't.
Yes. So there's definitely gonna be a shoot in London. So I'm bringing a whole suitcase full of stuff to just go around and shoot all throughout Europe. So don't worry.
Okay.
There is a collection of the jackets. I'm doing a limited edition of 15 jacket deconstructed and reconstructed, and with the
Mm-hmm.
whole concept painting and everything. And then I'm actually remaking my Olympics dress. It's actually going into a window for New Year's.
Oh yeah, they weren't that keen on that one, were they?
I mean, whatever they say, I love my dress. The client loved my dress, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. I was working for a client, and she did say, and I quote, "Your dress is the one I will walk into a store and buy for me." I heard it,
Yeah.
and so did America. That's it. Maybe that's it. That's what
Wasn't
I'm gonna
your
say.
haunted house one really nice
My
as well?
haunted house one,
Oh,
I is have
it
to
just
be the
came back
one.
to me. Sorry.
It has to be the one dress I did not very agree. I did not agree with so much because I struggle with the dress. It's gonna sound funny to people, but it took me maybe 4 weeks until it dawned on me that that challenge was a evening wear challenge.
You did say, you did say this.
I was sitting there and interviewed. We were talking, and then they didn't even ask me about it, and they said something. And then as they say it, I was like, "Oh shit." That was an evening wear challenge, and it literally clicked on me. And I was just like, oh my God. For some reason, I walked into the store with the wrong mindset, as if we would have were to walk into the store creating an evening wear. I make evening wear all day. Like, it took me
Yeah.
one day to make that painted dress. And I'm like, what the hell did I screwed up? I really did screw up on that dress. I know I had the immunity. It plays with my head. I did not want to be saved by it. I wanted to be on the top again because once you start winning, honey, there's a thing there. It's just like I just need to be up there all day.
Get a taste for it,
And
innit?
Christian did say the dress was pretty, but I should try to push it, and I did try to push it, and then somehow, somewhere, it all fell through. It was not my favorite. Out of all my work at Project Runway so far, that's been the
Yeah.
one that I'm not very proud of because I know how I felt when I made that dress.
Well, what's it like working under those kind of time constraints? Like, how long does it usually take you to perfect and make a fabulous gown versus how long you have on Project Runway?
In my regular studio here, I will need a good top 3 days of me working all day with my one assistant.
Yeah.
And that's us taking cigarettes break, lunch, and stuff like that. It would probably take me just one day to finish the garment, to completely get a garment done. but it's the finishing. Sometimes that takes a little bit longer because I do a lot of finishing by hands. That kind of stuff, it kind of make it a little bit. That's when I'm taking my time,
Yeah.
but I didn't have that luxury there. But
It looks insane.
we had enough time like to make once we there. I think one of the things that I did learn coming out of that is to really time myself and how I work, make the clothes. Because at some point, it doesn't matter how you sew, you kind of start to build a process for you that you're like, I'm gonna do this, that. I'm gonna spend this amount of time, this amount of time, this amount of time, and this. When I'm doing this, I'm gonna grab that. Like literally, make a
Yeah.
whole system of chairs just sliding from one machine to the next to that. Like it literally is like
And
crazy.
then like because when you're at home, you can kind of obviously there's less pressure.
Yeah.
But like even on the show, when they're like it's a 2 day challenge, what is it?
Oh,
It's
thank
like
you.
12. Is it 12 hours that you get, or is it less than that?
It's more, it's a little more, but we can talk more about the time.
Well, I did say I asked you, is there anything I'm not allowed to
Yeah.
ask you? And you just said I'll
Yeah.
answer what I can. So I get
Yeah.
nosy. I was gonna write notes, and I was like, you know what? I ain't making notes. I'm just gonna chat with my dude.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I did
Yeah, there's a lot of
wonder.
love here. In fact, I don't want to keep you too long, Parjje, because I know you got business to handle.
No, I
But I'm
don't.
going to ask anybody who is watching right now, if you have any questions for Parjje, send us a little question and I will try to get to them at some point. So feel free to write your questions and I will include them. I think it's just a lot of people saying hi. I've got love from Germany. You've got love from Germany.
Oh, thank you, Germany. Yes, we are the same.
Yeah, you know, we're worldwide out here. This is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
And
People
you know,
said they
that's what
agreed with me when I was talking that you should have won instead of Chastity, but you know, we'll
I
just
mean, the
move on from
competition
that.
is out there, and then the L magazine kind of made a very strong reference to that. And I'm not going to say I disagree. I just choose not to get there. Um, but in terms of like with all my Haitians, that just or maybe Haitian friends of Haiti that just say, when I did the show, one of the things that I know people go onto the show with strategies in terms of how they're gonna be the kind of person they're gonna display. I know I want it to be just me. It'll be very hard for me to be anybody else or anything else but me. I'll have to restrain myself. I do not like restraint.
I
And
would
I
see
was
it too.
yeah, and I was me. There when the F bomb needed to slide, it did slide and I did apologize for it when it was out of out of left field. That's just me. But at the same time, I cooked, we ate, we enjoyed each other. If I didn't like something, I spoke my mind. But one thing I wanted to make clear is that when I was going there, I wasn't going to be anybody else but the Haitian boy from Haiti. Because you have to understand, I came to this country. Yes, I grew up in Boston. I got my education there. I had a lot of great opportunities. I moved to New York. I did that. But think about it. Technically, I paid for all that. If I didn't have some sort of education money to go to the school, I wouldn't get that degree. If I didn't really work hard, my mom didn't really work hard and really support me, I wouldn't have that. I'm not saying I'm not grateful for the opportunity that I got in this country. I am. That's the point. This country provides so many opportunities to people of everywhere. And but in Haiti, there is no such things. There is no opportunity. There is no scholarships. There is no shelter. There is no dreaming one day you're gonna be a Project Runway. There's none of that. So it was very important for me to go there and represent those people because they needed that moment more than anybody else would need Boston or Philly or New York repping them because Haiti needs that more because the narrative that we are seeing right now is not the right. I'm here. So that means the narrative is wrong. So if I'm here and the narrative is wrong, then show them how wrong it is. And that's why I did that. I was there. I was myself, but I worked. I work hard. I keep giving them great work, and I represent my culture to the best that I can with dignity. And these are the kind of people that we are. Um, and
Totally and utterly, Prajay. Like I said, I would notice if you were being anything less than authentic, and it's so nice to see. It's like, you know, when you just want to see people that you know winning. I honestly have goosebumps every time I watch the show. I am on the edge of my seat, waiting, wishing, willing, just in the anticipation of what's going to come up next. And you just keep on serving me looks
And
upon
meanwhile,
looks
I'm sitting there
upon
like praying to
looks.
Jesus, like, oh my God, how is the edit gonna be tonight? Oh Lord, please spare me.
I remember this. It's true. I think it's really important to state that when it comes to reality TV, the editing is so important. The editing
Yeah.
can make it look like a completely different scenario to what it actually went down as. And I actually think you've come off pretty well, but I think you're doing good.
Yo, you know you were there, you know it happened, but you don't know how it's gonna come out. And I think that kind of like anxiety is worse for a lot of us. But we were ourselves, so we knew we didn't do anything wrong to that regard. And whatever we did that could have been dramatic, we already dealt with them. That was a
Mhm.
good thing about it. It was such a great group of people. Um, you know, we cried when we wanted to cry, we hugged each other, and then we whatever else needed to be done at the time. And it shows even in the workroom when it's like, oh my God, I don't understand at the beginning, I don't understand how they borrowing from each other. Girl, you don't know how much borrowing. This was like back in the BC days. I'll give you a needle if you give me a thread. I'll give you a bobbin. Like this is how it was. But Sarah, sometimes you fuck up and you're like, oh damn, I have no more fabric to fix this. But your neighbor over there got extra fabric. You have to like make a trade. Like it was like this because people understood that everyone was great, and the competition was at the end of the runway. Giving somebody half a yard of fabric that you are not using, it's not going to be the reason why you lost or win. So it was a great dynamic, an amazing dynamic. I don't think other seasons have this, but I'm grateful that this part right there is to
I
be
actually
true.
think that the pandemic had something to do with that. I think I mean, obviously, the whole world has been thrown into chaos. And I think
Mm-hmm.
there's maybe an element of people being more grateful or having more to fight for.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah, it was really good.
it was
So,
really,
guys,
really
no
good.
questions. Nobody's running with the questions.
Look, are there any questions? I feel like I've done really good. I'm trying to think if there's anything I haven't asked you. I don't want to
Yeah.
be shady about anything. I kind of want to keep it positive. I love the
Daisy
fact that
said
you
yes.
shared who your favourites were or whose aesthetic you enjoy the most. It's almost like I know that you know the answer to a lot of stuff, so I don't want to be teasing that. I don't want to get you in trouble with Bravo. Won't do that. Um, oh, who's your favourite judge?
My favorite just have to be Nina Garcia. Um, there was something genuine about when she gives you her answers, and there was something very cutthroat about it too, honey. When she said it once, she won't say it again. It was like the Devil Wears Prada type of vibe going on, and I like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, Nina has to be. Elaine definitely is very striking, so I guess
I
there's a
do
bit of
love Elaine.
I love Elaine, but there's a bit of fear there. So I'm kind of like, oh shit, she's about to speak. You don't know what you're gonna get with Elaine. And I had the same thing with Brendan too. But for Brendan, it's a little bit more for me because Brendan is also a designer. So if he says your pockets are out of line, because he knows your pockets are out of line, so it's like, God damn it, he noticed it. So there is always that biggest fear, like before Brendan speak, like your leg kind of like, oh, at least for me, because it's that what these were the things that I run. And Project Runway was, clothes are well made. I think you can go. People, I've heard a lot. Oh, we missed the part where you can't go close to clothes. Baby, you can get real close. I guarantee you.
Love that. And can you
You can
remind me
zoom
what?
in.
Can you remind
Okay.
me what the prizes are, please? When you win, which I'm hoping for. I don't
Um,
know. I'm just saying. I'm
it's a
sending out the
quarter of
energy
a
of Parjje
mil.
winning Project Runway 2021. But what are the
It's a
prizes
quick.
again? Just
It's
remind
a
me.
quarter of a mil. Internship with CFDA, and I think there's another $50,000 from like brothers or something. It's a lot. I mean, it's a good situation to be in.
You're a winner, anyways. You know that, right? Because at the end of the
You know it,
day,
baby.
I think that a lot of the time it is just about exposure. I
Yeah,
don't care whether you actually win this show or not. I mean, I do because I feel like you should, but regardless, it's about lasting long enough for your legacy to surpass that. Remember, I
yeah.
didn't win top model, and I feel like I used that dry, squeezed it like a rag. So,
Honey,
you,
and baby, we talk about this for many years. We are having putting work in, and then look what I've done. Like, it's just starting. I've not even got into my zone yet, to be honest with you. I just established my atelier here in Philly, so the work can be done because that was one of the big things that I've always wanted to get done. So that's done. So now there's a home for it. It's not living with me anymore. I kick her out. And then that it gives me the opportunity to start laying foundation for the big atelier in Haiti where we can manufacture stuff. This was always a long-term goal. And then I'm going to dive into a collection for next year, like my private collection. That collection is where you're going to see Project and everything Project has been sucking in from this whole entire experience and what we've learned,
Yeah.
the new direction of where we're going. It's going to be mind blowing, and you're definitely gonna have to be here for that. It's gonna be in September, but we just gonna leave it as that. We're gonna spend a whole year building this entire collection.
And I do have a question here from Daisy. She said, great convo. Have we ever watched Project Runway in other countries? Have you?
Old season, yeah. Actually, my kids are watching it right now, but I'm not my kids. I have so many kids in here. It makes no sense. I don't know how they're watching it, but I think it's from clips online and somebody with a phone that can go to find out somebody that posts on YouTube or whatnot. But I think you can watch.
Oh, I just got confused because I thought it was the Project Runway. You see how like America's Next Top Model, then you have like Germany's Next Top Model. Is there other Project Runways that are in other countries or no?
Well, yeah, I think so because Chantal is from Project Runway, Latina from her country.
Yes.
Yeah, so I did find out there's a kind of what is it? What's the word?
Yeah,
Uh,
like
a franchise.
yeah. Do you think another one? Do you think Heidi and Tim would have changed this season if they were on this Project Runway? Aren't they doing another show? Aren't they doing Making the
Yeah,
Cut?
they're doing making the cut. The idea of Tim's and Heidi, I need people to put it to rest. They're not coming back. They moved on with their life. They have their own show going on. But I did miss the presence of having this tall woman or guy walking into the room and on the runway really like yeah, Christian did a good job, but I did feel like it did miss that part because I think that part added something to the show. Um, you can't that little energy was missed. I'll say that much. For not having that host. You could have and not so much Heidi, but I don't want to butcher her name. That was a previous host that couldn't come back because I think she had just given birth or she was pregnant or something.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but it did miss that little component there. But either way, it was fun. Like I think at some point they were like, "These people are fucking crazy. We don't need a host."
It's true. I don't think they do
Host on
need
their
it.
own
I
show.
haven't missed it. As a viewer, I haven't missed them, but that might also be because I watched Making the Cut too, because I'm here
Yeah.
for any kind of designer reality show.
But you know what's funny? I was thinking about making the cut. I like the fact that they give you seamstress. Like it sounds more like how a designer works
Sounds like
in
how you want to
making.
work.
Like I was like, I just have to do a tech back and then come back tomorrow morning and this is that. Babe, we can't do this all day. Like, are you serious?
Yeah. No, that's so cool. No,
Uh,
like I said, I am just so proud of you, Parjje. Is there
thank you,
anything that you
thank
want to
you.
share with people? Because I said I was going to be half an hour and I'm at 39 minutes, so I don't want to keep you
Well,
because I know you got to
I'm
go.
I'm in no rush, but you can find me projectoscar.com. You can find me right there on this page. It's holiday season. Buy something. That's how we keep the lights on. I tell people that all the time. Most
I've been
holiday
eyeing up one of
season.
your silk scarves actually.
Eye it, honey, eye it. We have more coming. In January, we'll be launching the jacket collection, which is limited edition, only 15, and I would not go back because I have to move into my collection. We'll have more inventory into more like the high-end ready to wear, different sizes and stuff like that. There'll be a lot more smaller stuff like t-shirts and caps and stuff like that now that I have this company that I work with to do drop ship. So that's where we are. We have a home and the work has begun with.
It does
That's pretty much
have to
what it is.
be done indeed. Project,
Yeah.
thank you so much for talking with me. I told you as soon as the season started, I was like, you know, I'm gonna need you to do a live with me, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
gave you a heads up from the beginning, and I'm so glad that
Yes.
you found the
Yes.
time to do this with me. I'm going to be popping this up. I'm probably going to put it on YouTube as well, you know. It's going to be
Okay.
here on my video page on my Instagram, but I'm also going to pop it on my YouTube.
Thank
And
you.
look, you're
Thank
getting
you.
so much love in the comments. If you love Praj Parjje. Look at all the hearts, babe. Look
I
at all the
know. Thank
hearts.
you. Thank you. Mwah. I did it for my people,
You did
and I don't
indeed.
care.
Thank you so much, Parjje. I love you.
Mwah. I love you too, boo. And I'm gonna text you about Paris. Yes.
See ya. I don't even know
Bye.
how to end it. How do I do it? All
You
right,
press
see
the
ya.
little X at the top.